Well, these are the injectors that we bought. Second one is out. Like fished it into a hole, and now I'm using my two. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another in-depth car specs. You guys can see today at the thumbnail of the video, we're installing some new injectors, 1050cc injectors from Injector Dynamics. And as you guys can see in the back, I do have some modifications that we will be installing this whole week along. And I will be posting videos all along the week. They're gonna be separate, of course. I have to edit them and stuff like that. But we got the fuel pump, HKS blow valve, the injectors, of course, and then the intake that we took off, and we're putting it back on. But yeah, let's get to it. Let's get to installation, injectors for today. Hopefully it's not hard, but yeah, let's see. Anyway, so these are the injectors that we bought. And they came in with a plug and play harness, which is the reason why I got it. Also, these injectors brought these little connectors. I'm not gonna need these. I don't know why they added them, but I guess if you want to adapt it to another car or anything else, this is probably for it. Anyway, so first thing you want to do is take off these two clips here. We're gonna push these clips down. There's one over here on the top and then one on the left. Pull down, it should come off right off. As soon as you do that, you got to find your fuel pump fuse and then pull that out and turn on the car. And it should sound something like this. So the first thing you want to do is basically take off all these plastic, the intake, and all that, so we can work on this side of the engine. We're gonna do the left side first. Left side, so passenger side for me. So yeah, take off these two clips. They both look like these small ones. Then we got a 10mm bolt down here and one right here on the side. And then we got these two clamps. Or actually one clamp, we don't need to take that one off. So this one, and then these two bolts up here, they're just star. And these are all the nuts and bolts that you should have for just the intake side. We are going to start off by taking off this bolt right here. This is the most easiest one out of all of them right here. This is a 12mm. Once you take off the little nut that's there, this bolt right here, you can't not take it off because it's welded to the little piece there. So you're gonna have to take off the whole reservoir, this little whole reservoir right here, which is 3 bolts. One there, and then that one. These are the bolts that come with it, and this is the nuts. Now for your next step, there's these little zip ties that are tied up to the cables. You could try and see if you could squeeze them. I did squeeze the one in the back, but I forgot to squeeze this one, so right when I yanked this one, the little zip tie broke on the front of this one, which is no problem, guys. Just add another zip tie to it. All you gotta do is just squeeze the little bottom tab that has the zip tie. Now the next one that we're taking off is the one that's under the reservoir between the cables. Like you guys can see, it's a 12mm as well. I would recommend one of these extender ratchets just to work from up here, and it looks like that. The next part, since we have to take off that bolt that's down there, it's right here where my pinky's at. We have to take off this, it seems like a TGV sensor or flap that opens it. You gotta take those off. I do have the ratchet. You guys can see we're gonna take off that millimeter. It's a 10mm bolt on the top, and then there's one on the bottom. So once you take off the TGV, it should look something like this. Should have that white stuff there. So now that we have that TGV motor off, we have to take off this bolt right. So now the hassle is that this bolt touches this oil line, and we have to take off this banjo for it to come off, so we can at least move the line down. Now the issue that I'm having is that this, I've seen videos on people doing the injectors as well, and it moves for them, but for me this piece is not moving. I've been going at it for at least 30 minutes or so, and I did some research and I found that there's a bolt right under the wastegate that we have to take off for this piece to come off. So you don't have to take off the radiator. It would be better to take off the radiator, make more space, but I don't want to go through the hassle of doing that. Alright, so for this piece, put your arm through here, go down to the external wastegate. There's a little metal piece that goes down. Take off that, you have a little bit more of that jiggle room. Now what I did is I lifted up this a little bit, and I'm gonna take off this big ass bolt here. It's a 17, and we should come off. It does have oil in it, so I'm just gonna see what happens. 17mm bolt is out. This is how it looks. You're gonna struggle a little bit, just letting you know. So what I ended up doing is taking off the clamp from the reservoir, and I poured it out enough that I could actually tilt it without spilling anything. So the reason why I took off the reservoir is because there's a bolt. I don't know if you guys can see where the finger is, but there's a bolt there that's holding the freaking piece, and this basically has 1, 2, 3, actually five. There's 1 here, 2, 3 up here, 4 and 5. And guys, finally we got the piece out. Oh man, you a bitch. Anyway, so the part goes like this, right? It has 1 screw here, 1 screw up here, 1 back here, and 2 down here. And most of these screws consist of like these. They look like these, and they have like a purple, pinkish little color in the top. We took off the piece. Now I'm put a rag down here. I did disconnect this injector on this side. I can't get this one back here, so I'm gonna take off the fuel rail. And these are 12mm bolts. I'm gonna take those off. I did take off this sensor as well, this oil sensor that was here. Unplugged it. First one's out. It's gonna be a little bit of a hassle, just so you guys know. It's like small, tight spots that you can't get your hand in. You just have to like try to fit it. And we got the 2 injectors out, and I unplugged a couple of plugs and stuff like that. But as you guys can see, this cable was tied up to this, and I cut off the zip tie that was there so I could work more freely. See, you guys can see it wiggles now, so that's good. I could actually move it around and stuff. But now we're gonna put the new injectors in. Also, I'll let you guys know, the old injectors had a little, seems like a rubber gasket that's in the injector part. I noticed that one of them didn't have it. I don't know, maybe it fell off and I didn't see it. So once you connect your plug and play harness, you're gonna install the injectors. So the pointing, so this black part is gonna be pointing downward. This is probably the part that injects the fuel in it. So that's how it's gonna be. And yeah, just put it in there. So connect your plug and play harness and then put them on. Don't connect them yet. So see how they're in there. For the injectors, all you have to do is put them in the hole. They don't go in all the way. It's just like halfway. And then for like the connecting top part, don't be scared. You have to actually do a little bit of hard movement and stuff like that. So don't be scared. Right now, what I did is I did connect the injectors to the top of the fuel rail, and I pushed it in a little bit so the spring is a little compressed, right? And then I added the 2 bolts that are up top. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slowly tying up both of them slowly so it could go equally in. So once you have them fully tightened, you should see that the spring now is compressed. I don't know if you guys can see that. View is very bad right now. Anyway, so now that we did all that, now we're gonna start connecting all the connectors back. Injectors, the little oil sensor, injectors in, connected, and everything. We're gonna put this bracket. You can also test, put it on the on position and check if there's any leaks. For the metal piece, what I did was I got like this other piece from the bracket from the intercooler, and I yanked it up a little bit. And what I did is I angled this part, the bracket, at an angle. Just have to play around with it, get to know it and stuff, meet it, go on the first day, and then you'll get it. But either way, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off this banjo again. It's still loose, so I can take it off whenever. I'm gonna take it off again, put the bolt back in there, and then put back the 17mm bolt. We fucking got it. Look what we did. So we got this little wire, and I screwed it into like the bolt, and then I just literally like fished it into a hole, and now I'm using my middle finger to fucking wiggle it in, and then we got one. Now we're gonna get the other one on the bottom, which I might do the same thing, fish it as well. Anyways, we're back, and I did put the bracket on. Now we're gonna put the TGV motor back. You guys can hear we're listening to music to take out the stress out, because I was a little bit stressed out, but just patience and time, man. You can get through it. And we got all the holes back for the reservoir, and now we're gonna put these 2 bolts that are up top, and then the little lug nut that's on the side. These are 12mm bolts. So we're done with this side. I'm not gonna put the intake in because I am gonna be putting the aftermarket one. And now let's go to the other side, which is removing the battery. That's the first step we want to do. Now for the driver's side, what you guys want to do is this clip up here. You just pull the tab, and then this other clip over here, pull the tab, and then we're gonna take off this metal bracket here that it has, so we can work a little bit better. So we could take off that bolt that's under the bracket, which is the one for the brace that's holding the fuel rails. After that, we're gonna have to take off this oil tube that goes down, so when we take out the bracket it won't interfere with that. So we have to take those are 10mm bolts. Also, I forgot to tell you that there's another one on the top part. Once you take off that oil tube or whatever, put a rag on it if you want. We're gonna be taking off this black part right here, not completely, but enough to move it around. So we're gonna take off this bolt up here, which looks like this one, This has a spacer, a little bit of space in between. And then we're gonna take off these 2 that are over here that look like these right here, look like these 2, right? And then we're gonna take off this other black one, which is like a metal brace that I don't know if you guys can see it where my finger's pointing at right here. It's a metal brace that's holding the black plastic, and the bolt looks just like this one. And now you should be able to do this. You have enough space to take off that bolt right there, that's just the one that we need. So the bolt that we're taking off is this one down there, and it looks just like this one. It's pretty large, I would say. And then we need to take off this other one that's down here where my finger's at. It's located around there. There it is. Second bolt that's on that side, it's a little bit smaller, as I was saying. See the comparison. Now the next step that we're gonna do is we're gonna take off this little rail that's over here, so we can at least move some cables around this area. So it's gonna be 1 bolt here, another one here. And then we're also gonna take off this little bracket from the intercooler. These are just 3 bolts, so 1 here, 2 down here. We should have plenty of space to move around the cables and stuff like that. Now for the back one, if you want, you can lift up the car. I checked it out to see where it was located. Through here you can't. You probably can, I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna go under the car and do it because it's a little bit easier. So we're looking at it from under, and if you put your hand through the hole where the steering rack or whatever, steering shaft, and you start filling out the piece, you can feel the bolt where it's at. It's basically located a little bit to the right. You guys can't see it, it's pretty dark right now, but you just have to fill it out and do it, you guys, because I can't show you. These are super uncomfortable to show. Fuel rail is released. The only thing is we still got all these cables back here. This plastic here that's connected to this fuel regulator, you can push it in, the tabs, it should come off, you can move it around and stuff. So guys, I've been playing with this for about an hour now, and I didn't take off the brackets or anything, but I did unloosen the fuse box for a little bit for more maneuver. And what I ended up doing was I pulled it. You just gotta keep on playing around with it. You get frustrated and stuff, but pull all these cables back, and I pulled out the rail. I have it over there on the floor, thank God. I was getting pissed already. So I've been playing around also with the fuel rail, and I've seen that this there's another bolt on the left side which is holding the bracket of the fuel rail, so it's not going to let you take it out. So fuel injectors are out on this one. I would say this side is a little bit more of a hassle just because there's so many holes and stuff like that. I don't know, both of them were kind of the same. Anyways, we're getting everything tightened up again. Just tying up all these bolts first from the bracket, and these as well. This one's still loose, but I'm putting all the brackets back. I put the fuse box and everything. I'll hit you guys up as soon as I finish. And just like that, we're done. Basically nighttime. I spent the whole day doing this, but it's fine. I'll make it short for you guys. You guys can see I installed the intake. I'm not going to show that because I already did a video on that, but everything's back to normal. Did fill up the coolant back on, and yeah, we're done for today. Tomorrow I'll be working on the fuel pump and the blow off valve, and we should be ready to go for the tuner. Tuner's going to send me a map so I can upload it to my access port, and we should work on this. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, peace guys.